Ray Green was born on his parents' homestead north of Port Reeve, Saskatchewan on November 1st, 1919. When war was declared in 1939, he was a 19-year-old farm boy who decided to serve his country. He enlisted at Regina on June 26, 1940. Ray traveled to the United Kingdom in 1941 and became a member of the newly formed 8th Recce. The 8th Recce endured periods of intense fighting, action, poor living conditions, and depressing weather. They were involved in the liberation of many towns and villages in Holland and were truly heroes of the people of Holland. The 8th Recce was just inside the border of Germany when the ceasefire was given. Ray returned to Canada in February 1945 and was followed shortly by his war bride, Mary. He farmed with his dad and later by himself, and then with his sons. Ray summed up his experience to a friend saying it was 90% pure hell, 90% fun and 10% pure hell. His family is so proud of their dad for his service. Leonard A. Lear. The family of Leonard Anthony Lear is proud and honored to unveil this veteran's banner in his remembrance. Len was born in Regina and served on the HMCS Owen Sound from 1940 to 1944. He came to Swift Current in 1946, where he met May Schofield. The two married and raised 6 children. He owned and operated Arlen Texaco for many years. Len was active in the community through the Knights of Columbus, the Catholic School Board, and the Swift Current Lions Club. His family is so grateful for the sacrifices he and all the other soldiers made and are making so we can enjoy the freedom we do today. Donald Mckay was born and raised on a farm near Beverly, Saskatchewan. In 1941, he enlisted with the Royal Canadian Air Force as an aero engine mechanic and then transferring to pilot training, receiving his wings in 1943. He did more training in England and Egypt, and then was assigned to the City of Windsor, Squadron number 417. In Italy, and he flew Spitfires, attaining the rank of flying officer and receiving the Distinguished Flying Cross. He also served during the war as a wireless air gunner. He took over the family farm from his parents. In 1948, he completed the vocational agriculture program with the University of Saskatchewan. He married and had 5 children, and his 2 sons still farm some of the original land. Don was a member of the Swift Current Legion and was active in his community, serving the local rural telephone and school boards, and as a 4-H club leader, Pioneer Credit Union Board, and a Saskatchewan Wheat Pool delegate. His war service was an important part of his life, and his family has always been proud of his contribution. Douglas John Melhop. He enlisted in the Royal Canadian Navy on his 18th birthday. He returned promptly at the war's end at the age of 21, at the urging of his father to help out with the burgeoning business. He soon met a young nurse, Lori Thorarson, and they were married on October 1st, 1949. Doug and Lori enjoyed their entire 64-year marriage in Swift Current, raising their 4 children, Sharon, Garth, Kim, and Brian. Over the years, Doug was an active member of the Masonic Lodge, the Swift Current Shrine Club, the Elks Lodge, and the Legion. Doug was an industrious man who was instrumental in building Melhop Electric in its early years. He was an aircraft pilot and great craftsman who loved to build and derived great pleasure in building the family cottage at Lac Pelche that continues to be a gathering place for his extended family. He was a man who loved those around him and entertained them with his intelligent wit, play on words, and refreshing tendency to speak his mind. He left behind a rich legacy of children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and friends when he passed away on April 14th, 2014, at the age of 88. Doug's family is proud and honored to unveil this veteran's banner in his remembrance. Leon Pluis. Leon Elmer Pluis was born in 1926 and lived in Pennant and later SwiftCurrent, where he attended school. When the Army was looking for volunteers close to the end of the Second War, Leon was in grade 12. With a commitment that anyone who volunteered would receive their grade 12, Leon enlisted on October 2nd, 1944 in Regina. By the middle of March 1945, he had completed his basic training and was soon on a ship overseas. After the war, Leon returned home and married Margaret Marnie Hughes. He joined the family business Standard Motors, where he worked with his father, Barney, his brother, Morris, and later with his son, Jim. He was an active member of the local business community, the Legion, and the Shrine Club. He had 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and many great-grandchildren before he passed away in November of 2012. He had a good full life. Leon's family is proud and honored to unveil this veteran's banner in his remembrance. Theodore enlisted at the HMCS Queen in Regina as an ordinary seaman on April 1st, 1943. He trained in Regina and Esquimalt, British Columbia. His 18th birthday was spent standing watch off the Clyde coast of Scotland. In 1943, he was drafted to the HMCS Protector in Sydney, Nova Scotia, where he got his first ship, the HMCS Drummondville, escorting the ferry from Port aux Basques, Nova Scotia, to Sydney, Nova Scotia. He was in battle off the Normandy coast on D-Day. During this time, he was promoted to acting able seaman. The last ship he sailed on was the HMCS New Liskeard. He was discharged on November 7th, 1945 at HMCS Queen in Regina. The service ribbons he received were the CVSM, Canadian Volunteer Service Medal, and clasp, and the 1939 to 1945 Atlantic Star. He always regretted leaving the Navy. In 1953, he moved with his family to Success and became a grain buyer with Mckay Grain. In 1965, he was promoted to superintendent and moved to SwiftCurrent and then to Elrose in 1972. In 1978, he moved back to SwiftCurrent as superintendent for the United Grain Growers, where he worked and eventually retired. He passed away in 2006. Ted's family is proud and honored to unveil this veteran's banner in his remembrance. These 6 banners, along with 35 others, will be hanging in and around Memorial Park until Remembrance Day. We would like to thank you all for taking the time to attend this ceremony and helping us honor these veterans.